Hello my peoples, mic check 1 2 3. Few Designs back here with another tutorial, and today we're continuing with our Monkey D. Luffy. Today we'll be working on the hands and the inferior part of the body, aka the legs. And remember guys, click like and subscribe, and without any further ado, let's get straight into it. Alrighty. Alright, so first of all, as always my people, as you know, we start with the rounded cube. The rounded cube, that is our source. It is the god to our blender, the heaven to our sculpt, the clay to our adobe, and some other puns that have to do with creation and heavenly things. Now, you know, we just push and pull, use the grab brush, use that rounded cube with subdivisions of 20, by the way, just to get the general feel of the palm shape and volume and how it will generally be positioned. Add another one and we will be creating the phalanges, aka the fingers. And from there, much the same process: grab, push and pull, duplicate, replicate, and you can form your 3 different segments of your finger, or 2 segments, or 1 if it's a cartoon character. You can leave it as is. That's the beauty of being an artist. We can flip things out of the way they should be. Creativity is key. What? Did that just rhyme? Yes it did. I am a poet and I know it. Okay, so once we've kind of sorted that out, all we gotta do now is bullion them together, and now continue to add in our details, make it look spick and span clean, make it look so fresh and so clean. Anyway, bullioning is pretty much the process of sticking different meshes together. It is kind of the glue for virtual creation. It is the plus to the individual. If that makes sense. Alrighty, so you know, here we're just kind of adding in a little bit more of our detailing. Just try to fill out this character. Okay, we're trying to fill out the form of the finger and how it should look. You know, we like those. What do they call them? Stir fry? Not stir fry. Fry fingers. Fry fingers. I heard a review once of somebody that said they don't like the styling, and I think it's pretty much like the greatest thing ever given to mankind. Once again, for anybody who's ever watched Superbook, pretty cool old animation. And I mean, back in the day, man, these guys really did something with the styling. But anyway, once we're done with that, and you stylize that one finger, you can duplicate, take a shortcut, and add it in and duplicate for the rest. Alrighty, well then we come back with our clay strips, our clay brush. Yes, it indeed is our clay strips. So use the clay strips just to add in a little bit of our bony landmarks, our knuckle brushers, knuckle dusters. Okay, so excuse that, adding it with a little bit of extra detail. You know, you're gonna make your work look great. And this is one of the ways we can do it, just to add in a little bit more of the tendons flowing into the end of the palmar and towards the edge of the fingers. You know, you've got this these tendons, it's those sharp, bony looking parts that are slim. It's not just bones. If you feel it, if you palpate, you will realize that, you know, these things move around on their own. Those things are called tendons. They're the reason your fingers can move. Intermission. Okay, with the first beautiful ad done, hope you like the vocals. Going down to the inferior of the body, that is the scientific term for it. It's called the inferior, but as usual, working with the rounded cube, stretching it out, a little bit of scaling down here, making sure it's of good proportion. It's better to work with a smaller one than a larger one. You only learn this after, you know, you've tried it a few times. Okay, and here we're just adding in a little bit more of the grab and pull, the push and pull. We're doing the Tai Chi sculpting, as I like to call it. We use the G brush. um, yeah, so just grab, use the grab brush, pull around, get that distal part of the lower limbs going, block it out a little bit. Once we're kind of familiar and happy with the form that we got, we can start to add in a bit more of detailing afterwards, adjusting the volume here and there. This way we can start working in our shuro, working in our beautiful muscle structure that assures our walk. In other words, it's called the calf muscles. It's the little cows. I guess that's why they call them calves. Right? Mini cows. Oh. 'Cause it's no sacrifice. Okay, and once we are content and happy with the blocking out that we have bullion together, before you add in the muscle structure, and if you always like to work with the muscle structure, if you'll put your education to work, people, and yeah, then we can start to work it in bullion. All right, once we work that in, we just kind of blocking out, marking off rather the little parts of your muscle structure just above the knee, between the femoral muscles and the muscles on the side, flowing into the knee, with the tendons that go with it. Add that in there, let it flow together as one piece. Always keep in mind how the muscle structure flows. I mean, yeah, you can stylize, but it's good to study and understand your anatomy. As always, repetition is the mother of learning, and dialogue is the father, and that's why we're doing these tutorials, so we can dialogue about the workflow. Okay, in future we will be doing a little bit of a more in-depth study of the anatomy and how we sculpt all these different parts anyway. So click a little bit of a notifier there, ring that bell, and holla at us, and go check out the channel. There's other stuff to look at other than just these tutorials, which I'm sure some of you might have noticed. Yeah, and we work on a few things, and by we I mean myself. So yeah, enjoy it and let me know what you think. Leave comments, like, share. Even if you don't like it, let me know why. Okay, well, while I work, excuse me a little bit, just gotta have a little sip of water. It's good to hydrate. H2O, your body's mainly water. It's good for energy, just so you know. Oh yeah, she. So we're gonna keep working a little bit more here, adding in a little bit of draw brush work, a little bit of draw sharp, the best tools to use for detailing. You can add a little bit of the crease brush if you want to work with it, it's all up to you. We'll go into an in-depth of brush work and how to go about it, as I said prior to this. But other than that, keep watching and flow with it. Okay, so just kind of finished with the knee, adding in the detailing, having in a little bit of smoothing for the edges. It's a little bit of play. The sculpts are never going to just be perfect from the get-go, but the more you practice, the faster you get to the final product. And yeah, that's about it. And we're just going to keep flowing with this, get that beautiful muscle structure going, and have as much detailing as we can, make it look good. Alrighty, and here we're playing a little bit with our clay strips brush, and just taking in a little bit of the undesired volume on it, and turning the volume up a little bit more. And we're just gonna work in a little bit of detailing onto our shuro walk, and just keep a sturdy walk, sturdy pace. He said where we go is important, the journey is important, not so much the destination. The journey will show you the destination, and that's about it. So once we've decided on the volume that we want for the shuro, then we can start to add in the little sharp edge detailing that we want to add to it, and give it a little bit more of a stylized form. Very realistic in form in general, but we can add a little stylization, just not fully cartoon. Manga has a little bit of that realism to it. Then a final push and pull, then we can get to Calcaneal. Spoilers, ad break. Alrighty, and as always, we're gonna add in that rounded cube. That is our source always. Then a little push and pull, trying to get in the form of that foot, getting in that calcaneal, dragging it out into our plantar, our planted walk. It's important how you walk. Speaks a lot of the character you walk with, which is very important. But anyway, just a little bit of an extra something that's for free. Anyway, yeah, the plantar, that's the bottom, what we call the sole of the foot, as if the foot has a soul. Right? But yeah, that's how we're gonna go about it, changing the angles here and there, trying to get it accurate, get that nice form into it, a little back and forth. As always with sculpting, it is a process, and enjoy the process. The process is far more important than the destination. How you do the process will determine the destination. Alrighty, let's keep going. Well, it's a little sad to actually be recording this and trying to keep high spirits considering the state that our country is in. But you know what? That's the attitude we choose to bring, and we're just gonna press on and keep getting on with it. That is always the best to do. And pray for the best. Pray for God to intervene. Right? Or for those with faith anyway. Alrighty, so once we're done with this, we're gonna add in another rounded cube, and for this we'll be sculpting in a little bit of our toe area, the big toe. Is it still called a toe? Because I mean, with your hands, it's a posable thumb, because it's able to move. It's opposing the motion of the other fingers. I guess the big toe doesn't really oppose much, so it's just the toe. Okay, so just keep on sculpting in a little bit of the detailing here. We're still just blocking out, not even really detailing, just to get a nice form with the toe. And once we've got that sorted, which actually in hindsight I should have gone about this whole process a little differently, same way I do with the fingers. It's actually clever to just do the whole thing and finish it before we continue with the rest of the process of duplicating it. But anyway, hindsight is alright. In the future I will do better, hopefully, if I remember. I mean, we're not always conscious of this whole process anyway, so try to be 100% alert 100% of the time. There's another lesson. Few designs, baby. Mentor/tutor, that's what's up. Okay, and here we're just sorting out the little joining and process, so we can bullion all of it together into one solid form before we start working in the full volume and getting a little bit of a better feel to the whole thing. Okay. Alright, so yeah. And here we're just setting up the shot. We're setting up our mesh so we can do the remeshing of it, to get some uniform topology on it, and work with different methods other than the zero strength brush. Tonight on Few Designs we use new methods. Yeah, okay, here we're just remeshing the toes, just so we can come and work in that detailing. And it's nice to use the remesher because it keeps the quads. It's not like using dynamic topology. Quads are always best to work with, good for deformation, good for sculpting. Yeah, that's actually questionable. It's just good for topology, not really good for animating. I've come to realize that there's a bit of a fine line between the two. Sometimes you want triangulation, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you want quads, sometimes you don't. And yeah, that's about it. But remeshing is essentially kind of like using the multi-resolution. Multi-res pretty much is like remeshing. It's what it does to the mesh. It turns them into quads, and then you can up those subdivisions and create fake detailing, except remesh actually adds that detailing. So in case you want to note the difference between the two. And those are looking pretty nice. We're not going too intense with the detailing, but the reason why, okay, essentially with other characters, I mean, if I had like shoes or boots on this character, there would be no need to sculpt in all of this detailing, unless if you're in the learning process, which I would suggest you sculpt everything. It's good to get used to it, get to fully understand how everything functions and flows. The difference between an average sculptor, artist, or designer and the one who's not one is one that actually puts in the work to learn and understand. Then you can take the shortcuts afterwards. I was taught a long time ago was that learn the rules of how to do it and then break them, knowing exactly what rules you're breaking. So, you know, if the feet are going to be hidden, there isn't really a need for you to sculpt all of this. But if you're still learning how to sculpt, then I suggest, well, do it, sculpt them, do it every time until you get used to it. Whenever you're going to get an opportunity to do a character that requires this detailing, you will be prepared for that as well. You know what I mean?
Know what I mean?
Yeah. Alright, let's keep going, let's press on. So here we're just bringing in a little bit of the bony landmark on the edge of the wrist. Yeah. Hope I sounded like Rick Ross there. Is Rick Ross still a thing? I wouldn't know. Okay. Let me know below. Do people still so yeah, we're just adding in the bony landmarks and a little bit of the tendons that come on the sides from the wrist and flowing into the thumb as well. Just, you know, adding in a little bit of an extra something, make our work look a little bit more special, have a little bit more of a yeah, that. For people with spirit, they understood what that means. Alrighty. And here we're just fixing up that gluteus major, getting in a little bit more topology into it. Just fixing up here and there, getting it to have a realistic form, and just going in general, we'll just be flowing all around the body and just fixing up our detailing, reducing it where we need to, working in minutia and a reduction of I mean, nobody's legs are really this super ripped, but the reason why I made Luffy this ripped and have most of these muscles stand out so much, I know he's a rubber guy, trust me, I understand. For all of you that have that One Piece lore and would be ready to just jump on my neck, but here's my principle. If he generally is a hard worker and he's a trainer, Luffy actually does get a little bit more ripped if you pay attention in the anime. So he gets a little bit more buff, which means the fact that he's rubber doesn't hinder the fact that he can become ripped and can become, you know, tougher. So, you know, I'm just adding that structure there, considering, well, he's a freaking hard worker. The kid fucking flips out, he fights everything, he runs everywhere like a moron, which is why I love him, which I'm sure is why all of us love him. He's a free-flowing spirit. Kind of reminds us of our spirit ourselves as artists, as artisans. We like to just chill, yeah, go where the spirit takes us. Nothing holds us back, no rules defined, but you know, we do it within a little bit of a moral boundary, understanding. Yeah, anyway, keep flowing. Okay, and here we're reducing a little bit of the detailing there in the abs after we've added a little bit of that volume as well, just until we get a little bit of a right feel. Like I said, I don't want to make him look too ripped. He's still a rubber man and he's still a little bit of a youngster. So, and I'm trying to find a perfect balance between those two. And yeah, once we've added that and we've worked in the proper abdominal flow and the feel towards the pubis, all of that is done, and you know, we've got a solid character that we can work with here. Well, with that done, here we have it. Here we have our Monkey D. Luffy. We have our masterpiece character. Very much a big fan of him. And let me know what you think in the comments below. What you would change, and hopefully we'll be catching you in the next tutorial. Or should I be more positive and say I know I will be catching you in the next tutorial? So click like, subscribe, hit that notifier for when the next one comes out. I think we'll do one on the modeling of the clothing. We'll see on that one. But Anyway, GG, God's good. Cheers. Oh, and by the way, don't forget to hit that notifier. Get it? Get the pun? Okay, GG, God's good. Cheers.